Hey everybody, this is Chris with Overclockers Club. I've got another cool camera today from Reolink. This is the Argus PT. The PT, of course, stands for pan and tilt. All right, a real quick history lesson here. This is the original Argus that came out a couple years ago. It is strictly a battery-powered camera. You can use a rechargeable type of battery with it, but you do have to deal with the fact that as the batteries lose a charge, you have to recharge them or replace them. So that was a limitation on the original Argus. Then Reolink came out with the Argus 2. The Argus 2 here was a big improvement over the Argus. It has a dedicated battery pack that is easy to charge up with a regular USB cable or a USB charger. But what really sets this apart, in my opinion, is the fact that you can now use the Reolink solar panel with it. So you are freed up to put this camera anywhere you want, as long as you're within range of your Wi-Fi. And with the solar panel, you really don't have to worry much about battery issues because this keeps the onboard battery topped off. After that, Reolink came out with the Reolink Argus Echo. This here is also a battery-powered camera. It uses a lot of the same specs as the other Argus cameras as far as resolution and such, but it is a step up as far as the original Argus. And you can also use the solar panel with it, which again sets you free as far as the limitations of a regular battery-powered camera. But today we've got the Reolink Argus PT, which also uses the solar panel. So let's get these all out of the box here, at least the PT and the solar panel. Take a look at it in more detail. So we'll look at the solar panel first. This is really nice. Again, these come in around $25, so it's really a worthwhile investment. And Reolink recommends that you use only the Reolink solar panel with their products. And I can't really speak if anything else would work, but for $25, I really don't think you're going to find a less expensive alternative that you know for sure will work besides this one right here. So really it's very simple. It has a base here that you can mount to the side of a building or a tree if you like. You got some concrete anchors there and the mounting screws, and then this base just attaches to the back, and then you've got a weatherproof connector here for the USB connector that goes into the back of your camera, and then this little rubber boot keeps water out. And the first question I would have about the solar panel is, how long is the cord? It is about 13 feet. So that lets you know how much distance you can have between the camera and the solar panel. As far as assembly goes, it's really pretty simple. Your base here has this giant, looks like a wing nut on it. You just loosen that, which frees this up to swivel around. There's a little ball and socket there. And then the threaded portion here screws in to the back. Actually, if you just straighten that out and then tighten that wing nut back down just a little bit, makes it easier to screw into the back of the solar panel. About like that. Then you just tighten this little jam nut down against the back and then loosen the wing nut again. That allows you to swivel this around to the right position, the right angle, and then you tighten the wing nut back here down again, secures it in whatever position you want. As far as dimensions go, it is about 5 inches high and about 8 inches wide. And don't forget the quick start guide. It sort of tells you how to set the panel up. A little more details, some tips for things to do and things not to do. And now we're ready for the camera. So there's the USB charging cable, antenna. Here's the adjustable base, some anchors, a little restart pin there that's used to actuate the rear, or I should say the reset button. If you need to reset it, that's what that little key is for. And then the camera itself is right there, and that's a decent sized camera. It's got some weight to it. We'll peel the protective cover off the lens there. And if we look at the camera in a little more detail, On the back there's an on-off button. And then looking back here a little lower, there's the antenna connection, and then underneath this little cover is the USB connection for charging or hooking up your solar panel. Moving around to the front, right here there's a little access for the SD card. It does not come with an SD card, you have to supply your own. But that's where it goes, actually underneath the lens. And then on the bottom here, there's your socket to screw in your mounting bracket. And it also says right here, mount the camera upside down. So it is intended to be mounted in this position. Of course, you can read the logo when it is in the correct mounting position. So it goes like this and not like that. So I got a 32 gigabyte SD card here, a little micro SD card. And then you very carefully rotate the lens up so that you can access the slot, and you put the SD card in. There's a little graphic off to the side that shows the proper orientation to put the SD card in, because it only goes in one way. And then you kind of push, you hear the little click, which means it's seated properly, and then you can cover that back up. Make sure you push that cover in and it's firmly seated also, because when this lens assembly rotates, you don't want it to hit that as it rotates down into this position here. And there's a speaker down there too. And that's about it on this. I already attached the antenna. Flip that over. In fact, I believe I forgot to show underneath here, there's also a, there it is, there's the, it's kind of tucked away in there. Little tiny hole right there off to the side is the reset. And you use this little key that's in here. Looks like a paper clip. In the event you need to reset the whole camera, that's where you insert that little key to reset the camera. So that was just a quick walkthrough of the physical external features of the camera. I do recommend going through the quick start guide here, become familiar with it. It does look kind of thick, but that's just because it's in multiple languages. So really it kind of walks through everything that I just showed you on the features, but it does talk about getting the app on your iPhone or your Android, and there's also a PC app or a client for your PC, and it works quite well. It's one of the more polished and well-refined apps I've seen for the PC. Now, I've already set Reolink cameras up many times, so everything I need is already on my phone, so we'll get the camera going now.
Reolink app, add the camera, and set it up.
So, I just turned the camera on. Actually, I probably should have done that first. It doesn't really matter because...
Please run Reolink app, add the camera, and set it up.
Okay, so now it's telling me pretty much what to do. Now, I already scanned the QR code in, so it's ready to connect to my Wi-Fi. So it asked me if I heard the voice, which I just did.
Please run Reolink app, add the camera, and set it up.
There it is again. I heard the voice. So now I punch my Wi-Fi information in. So after you enter your Wi-Fi information, it will generate this 2D matrix.
Reolink app, add the camera, and set it up.
And then you hold that in front of the camera so that it can see that matrix. It should beep.
Scan succeeded. Camera is connecting to your router. Please wait.
And now we say the scan succeeded. We wait for it to connect.
Connection to the router succeeded. Welcome to Reolink.
Great. So we hit
Connection to the router succeeded. Welcome to Reolink.
Scan succeeds, then connection to the router succeeded, which it just told me. And now I will create a username and password. So then after you create a password, you name the camera, and then it should show up. There we go. And let's see if it comes out. Oops. Not connected. There we go. First time connection. And there it is. I can move my hand in front of it. Of course, it's upside down, needs to be mounted in the inverted position. But that's it. So the whole process from powering it up to connecting takes maybe 3 or 4 minutes. And I went ahead and plugged it in, and you can see That bright orange LED glows when it is being charged. And back to the PC app. So if you want to get into the meat and potatoes of all the controls, really you just click the little gear there. You make sure on the right camera, and you click the little gear up here. Tap on that, and that gives you the ability, if I can get the camera to focus, there we go. You can get into all the settings for the camera, the display settings, for example. You can get in there, you can rotate the screen if you do want to mount it in the inverted or non-inverted position, I guess I should say. You can move the camera name on the screen, you can turn the watermark on and off, you can control the sensitivity, and you can spend a lot of time poking around here. There's the passive infrared settings. You can set up the schedule for when the camera will be active. So if you don't want it to record all the time, you can adjust the sensitivity. You can customize the sensitivity to reduce false alarms. So all of your parameters here for setting up the camera's various features. So like this one, for example, this is post-recording duration, so it's basically how long of a clip you want to record. I usually set mine to about 15 seconds. And then we can go back to the camera. But all those things you'll have to customize for yourself. So that should give you some examples there of some of the video quality and a little bit of the pan and tilt functionality. This falls in line with the other Argus cameras as far as the features, other than the pan and tilt. So you know what to expect. You get the 1080p HD video, so your video quality is as good as any 1080p system. Right now this comes in at $139, and that includes the solar panel. So you're ready to go. Once you get this thing plugged in and get the app on your phone, you're ready to roll with recording video. You do have to supply your own SD card, which is no big deal. But anyway, $139. Check around at the holidays especially. You'll find these on sale. But I really do like the pan and tilt functionality of this camera. It's almost like having two cameras. Your field of view, of course, it's not like having two at the same time, but you can sweep around and get a much wider field of view than just with a single camera. So I think this represents a decent value since you get a pan and tilt camera, Wi-Fi camera, along with the solar panel for $139. I would give this the OCC Gold Award, and I would say this falls in line with the other cameras in the Argus series. If you have any comments or questions, what do you like, what do you not like, let me know. This is Chris with Overclockers Club. Don't forget to subscribe.